So, lads, it's that time of the year again where Caitlin Clark is now scheduled to play some golf. Or it's the golf tour again. So, Caitlin Clark is returning to the Annika to participate in the LPGA's Pro-Am November the 12th.
Now, let's get back to Caitlin Clark. She completely upended the sports industry. Even worse, this time it had nothing to do with basketball. Everyone was talking when she unexpectedly showed up at an LPGA event. The media was exploding with excitement. Furthermore, it appeared as though the WNBA had completely forgotten how to tweet. I have a serious question for you now. Was Caitlin Clark's promotion by the LPGA actually superior to that of her own league? Let's dissect this. For what transpired at that LPGA Prom was not your typical celebrity golf event. It became a full-on masterclass in marketing, which is crazy. The WNBA was just humiliated in their own home. Really? Listen, Caitlin Clark just arrived, smiled, and swung a golf club. And in some way, she utterly upended the women's sports industry. This was initially intended to be a very low-key, enjoyable charity prom with a few golf celebrities and sportsmen. Nothing significant. However, Caitlin's name appeared on that invite list the second time. Everything was different. The supporters went wild. Thousands of people began to inquire about how they could attend, how they could watch, and whether it would even be streamed. The LPGA, who hadn't even intended to broadcast it, had to completely alter their setup since it became so out of control that it's all due to one player. And you know what? It was a complete success.
Here, Caitlin Clark will compete in the Annika Pro-Am. This is gonna be fire. Y'all know she set the whole golf world on fire last year, had everybody tuned in. The ratings jumped up crazy. They jumped up.
Additionally, Caitlin Clark was featured on national television. Correct. The world's top golfer, Nelly Korda, was matched with her. What started out as a modest show unexpectedly turned into a media treasure trove that it's more than simply luck. That is just plain strategy. It's obvious that the LPGA understood exactly what they were doing. They essentially declared, yeah, we'll definitely take some of that. After witnessing the Caitlin Clark effect, which included record ratings, large crowds, and all those viral moments. Thank you. The WNBA, meanwhile, remained utterly quiet. Not a single post, tweet, or even congratulatory message from the league, which genuinely owes her half of its record audience. And fans quickly noticed, why is the LPGA celebrating her harder than her own league? People began to inquire. And what do you know? Given that the LPGA didn't simply invite Caitlin, that is a perfectly reasonable concern. The entire event was basically constructed around her. She served as the spokesperson for their campaigns. They gave her great coverage, created visuals, and uploaded videos. They accomplished everything that the WNBA has largely declined to achieve this season. And the response to everything only served to highlight how effective that strategy was.
Next on the team, Caitlin Clark.
Get this, too. That audience like a miniature rock concert when Caitlin started. There were chants, cheers, and signs. It was crazy. She appeared to be participating in the Final Four once more. However, it wasn't basketball fanatics this time. Fans of golf were going crazy over her swing. The LPGA took advantage of all that excitement right away. Highlights of her giggling with fans, signing autographs, taking photos, and even making jokes about her golf form were shared online. Queen of the Court, meet Queen of the Course, was the caption they used. That's precisely how it's done. They took advantage of her enormous popularity and made it work out well for everyone. The LPGA was introduced to a new market. Fans adored Caitlin's appearance, which made her a global advocate for women's sports. To be honest, the LPGA was in dire need of this kind of boost. Golf isn't really recognized for being popular on the internet, but Caitlin quickly altered that. Over the course of 2 days, she was everywhere. ESPN, Bleacher Report, Yahoo Sports, and Golf Digest all discuss her stroke, grin, and character. Suddenly, Even those who had never watched a single golf match were discussing the LPGA.
Thank you. Caitlin Clark brought her golf game to the LPGA Tour today, playing in a Pro-Am that attracted a bigger crowd than the Tour often gets. Clark played at the back nine at Pelican Golf Club with Nelly Korda. She's the #1 player in women's golf.
That is the result of having a thorough understanding of star power, my friends. And that's precisely what the WNBA is still struggling with. Since the WNBA genuinely appeared to be hiding in the background and acting as though no one was watching, the LPGA was setting the trend for embracing Caitlin. Not a single highlight video, no cross-promotion, no mention, nothing at all. They practically seem to be allergic to high-quality PE. And that's the reason why supporters are so furious. You know, this whole event wasn't even about golf. It has to do with opportunity. The LPGA saw an enormous opportunity to introduce their sport to a completely new audience, and they seized it. In contrast, the WNBA has spent the past year pretending that Caitlin Clark's celebrity is a problem that needs to be handled rather than something that should be celebrated. Do you recall how the league hardly advertised her games at the beginning of the season? Or how they appeared to hold off on sharing her best moments unless it was absolutely necessary? Additionally, the commissioner herself had to defend remarks that the league shouldn't be centered around a single player. Yes, everything. Now they sit there and watch as a different sport dominates national news with the same guy. People claim that the WNBA appears frightened because they are aware of what they are losing on a fundamental level. Caitlin Clark's versatility as a basketball player was once again demonstrated at this LPGA event. She is a brand. She is a force. She is a walking advertisement. Fans, wherever she goes. Additionally, people note how much more valued she appears when she leaves the WNBA bubble, as she just did. She received royal treatment at the LPGA. Fans cheering, athletes grinning, and encouraging interviews. No one was complaining that she had too much attention.
Come say hi. I need to introduce myself. I play out here on tour. I'm Maria. Thank you for being out here. It's very cool what you're doing for sports, kicking ass on and off the field. But now,
and here's the Caitlin Clark effect, Morgan, with Maria Fossey and other players out here following.
That's good. A lot of fun. Made it easy. Annika, could I steal you for a second? I don't think I'll have like bigger. I can't say bad stuff on TV, but badasses. Once together. We're doing a fun like on that side. There we go. Yeah. I'm next. Yes. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Hi, Caitlin. Nice to meet you.
I said it, the buzz from the players
over here, so I'm distracting you.
For weeks.
No, y'all are trying to get finished.
Has been huge.
Somebody take this picture.
By the way, Allie, an outstanding point guard in her own right in Fulton, Mississippi. All state.
Thanks for being here. Yeah. Good luck.
No one was complaining about being in the news. It was a joyous occasion, to be honest. That's what hurts because the LPGA didn't even hesitate. They were fully aware of what they had. They gave her a lot of attention and expressed gratitude. In the meantime, there was total silence from the WNBA in response to this significant turning point, at the very least. You would assume they would retweet a golf video with the caption, "Our girl Caitlin's taking over the fairway," but nope, nothing. He was immediately criticized by fans. Comments simply deluged their official paid account. Why do you act as though she doesn't exist? She deserves your gratitude for the record-breaking ratings. You're not doing your job as well as LPGA. And since this was the simplest PR victory conceivable, none of that is incorrect. They could have shared the moment by just posting something, anything. Instead, they appeared completely cut off from their own biggest star. This becomes somewhat depressing at that point because Caitlin isn't attempting to make her league seem bad. She isn't causing any controversy. She isn't whining. She is simply carrying out her usual routine of turning up, putting in a lot of effort, and igniting interest in women's sports. However, it only serves to highlight the WNBA's silence whenever another organization embraces her, as the LPGA recently did. Furthermore, nobody seems to be harmed by Caitlin's celebrity. Let's face it, everyone benefits when she trends. She has millions of viewers for her games. She sells out of her jersey. Her interviews increase the league's visibility. Why fight it then? Given that she is obviously the face of the sport, why act otherwise? It seems as though the WNBA is afraid to acknowledge what every fan already knows. Caitlin Clark is the league's greatest development in years. Additionally, they risk losing her to organizations that truly understand what to do with it if they don't start acting like it. Because the LPGA currently serves as a model for how to handle female athletes with deference, gratitude, and astute marketing. It wasn't awkward because of them. They didn't think too much about it. She's a star, they simply remarked. She is present. Let's commemorate it. That's the WNBA, meanwhile, is out here making quiet a complete PR catastrophe. The fans are upset. The sports press is blaming others. Even unbiased analysts are expressing what everyone is thinking. The WNBA seems totally outdated in comparison to the LPGA. Caitlin is not to blame for it. It's the league. Because this entire incident revealed a single, straightforward fact. Your sport flourishes when you truly honor your stars. You lag far behind when you attempt to conceal them. This is where the situation becomes even more intriguing, because Caitlin wasn't only invited for a brief appearance by the LPGA. She was purposefully made the main attraction. The world's best golfer, Nelly Korda, was matched with her. It would be like to placing A.A. Wilson and Caitlin Clark on the same court and telling them to go break the internet. The event became a cultural crossover as soon as the two teed off, rather than merely a golf tournament. The LPGA was hosting a moment rather than merely a game. Social media began to be overflowing with pictures of Caitlin and Nelly laughing, smiling, and strolling the course.